Hey guys, Edre here, and I'm going to be doing a little Vert review. And I'm actually going to be this is going to be of the deluxe edition of Eternal Atake, Love, or why did I do that? Lil Uzi Vert versus the World 2. Now, a few weeks ago, I did a review of just normal, the first Eternal Atake, and it was a mess. I had a missing tooth, and it was a horrible review. So I'm going to cover that a little bit. Not going to go in depth because I already did talk about some of the songs, but why I was a little disappointed with Eternal Atake. So, for starters, Lil Uzi Vert, at least how I think of him, I like him. I like when he's on top of his game. I think, I'm going to sound like a normie, but EXO Tour Life is one of the greatest songs of the decade. And I think that Love is Rage 2 is an excellent album, and that The Perfect Love Tape is also an excellent project. I think that during that era, 2016, 2017, he was on top of his game. He was unique, and he had there was just something about his personality, his style, his music that kept on bringing me back to him. And then he disappeared. And he came back just like a few weeks ago with, sorry, I'm looking for something. With Eternal Atake. The long-awaited Eternal Atake. And I gotta say I was relatively disappointed because I have been waiting for this album since I really got into him in the first place. Now, you see, the thing about Eternal Atake that really threw me off was the fact that he promoted it as this great, more theatrical piece with all, the space themes and all that, and the Heaven's Gate cult, which was a whole controversy, last year. And the end result was very much your watered-down Lil Uzi. And I think it was probably one of his least interesting projects. Now, if I recall correctly, I gave it a 5 out of 10. Which means that I don't like it, I don't dislike it. I just think it's average, and that's pretty accurate. I mean, I like that it does have that theme of space and all this bigger, oh my god, all these, kind of sounds and everything. But, to me, the actual material, the actual vocals, the actual, especially the lyrics, they're very much like your cliche Uzi lyrics. There's not much else to say there, unfortunately. So, when I heard 1 week later that he dropped the deluxe edition, which is also Lil Uzi Vert versus the World 2, which is a project that I think's decent. I think it's okay. The original one, that is. I was like, okay, I have to look at this. I have to see what's going on here. I wasn't sure if I was going to review it, but after a few listens, I kind of had to. So, this album is not that good. I mean, I'm just going to be kind of straightforward here, and it's leaving me very disappointed, even more disappointed than Eternal Atake, and it's kind of leading me to believe that he kind of has fallen off quite a bit from his heyday. I mean, yeah, this sounds like a Lil Uzi Vert album. That's not the issue. I mean, if you threw this on, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds like Uzi. But, a whole bunch of Uzi, filler. There's no reason for this album to really exist, in my opinion. I mean, Eternal Atake was, just an average album. You should have just left it at that. Now, yeah, it sounds like Uzi, but it's just not memorable. It's really not, it's bland, it's not memorable. And the production is, your most basic trap production in 2020. It would have been basic back in 2016. Keep that in mind. It's been 4 years, and we're not getting anything groundbreaking, anything new. I mean, we get art, compared to, say, Young Thug, who was prominent back in, 2016, and has since improved upon his sound, and is releasing great music in 2019 and hopefully 2020. And, same with an artist like Post Malone, who was around in 2016, but has kind of gone a more pop direction, but has expanded his taste and his sound. Uzi's kind of been stuck in this rut, and I feel like it's really holding him back. I mean, one of the songs that I actually do like is the song Lotus. I think the flow on the song is decent. I think the beat is decent. I think it's one of the highlights on this album. Strawberry Peels is really repetitive, but I think the Young Thug feature really does kind of add to it quite a bit, I gotta admit. And Come This Way, Trap This Way are also two decent songs. I like the melody a lot on those songs. But besides that, there's not much here that I find that crazy. In fact, the main song that I remember everybody was talking about when this thing dropped was Mylon, and I personally think that's one of the worst songs on this album. Not only are the lyrics cringy, I think the beat is bland, and I think his rapping is no better than anything he's done in the past. In fact, it's worse. Why is this? Like what's going on? This is definitely nothing compared to the Perfect Love tape, which has some great songs, and Love is Rage, and Love is Rage 2, which, I mean, it's maybe his most popular, but I do think is arguably his most cohesive project yet. I think Love is Rage 2 is an excellent album. So, overall, what is my overall consensus on how I feel about this project? Uzi fans are not going to be happy with me. But there's just nothing, in my opinion, that is that interesting, that is that memorable about this album. I can tell you right now, aside from Lotus and maybe a few others, I'm not going to remember how most of this stuff goes in a few days. And I've listened to this a few times, and it still feels new to me every time I listen to it. So, I think what's really happened here with Uzi is that he blew up. And I know he had Money Longer and some of those. And then he got even bigger with EXO Tour Life and Love is Rage 2. And then he disappeared. And I think he had a hard time coming together with a project that was ready for release. And I think that's why the stuff we're getting is very bland, isn't the greatest, and is really disappointing. So I hate to do this. I really do, because I really want to like what Uzi's doing. But I have settled on giving this a light 3. I mean, anything higher would just be inaccurate to me. The album it could have been done by anybody. And I know Uzi has it in him to do so much more, but unfortunately, he really didn't. That's why, this is why I'm just giving this a light 3. I mean, I wish I didn't have to give it a light 3. That's it for now. Lil Uzi Vert, Eternal Attack Deluxe, Lil Uzi Vert vs. the World. He really needs to make this title easier.